Hello and welcome to Tabletop for One. Today I'm doing a video on how to modify Blackout Hong Kong. Blackout Hong Kong is a game designed by Alexander Pfister, published by Edgar Spiel, and it is a resource management game that has deck building and other mechanics involved in it. And it's a very I would say underrated solo game, but it's starting to get recognition. It made the BGG Top 200, and a lot of people have been buying it recently. I've had it for a while. I've played it over a dozen times, and I think I'm up to 20 times now playing this game. And I wanted to show you different ways that you can modify this game. First of all, if you've played this game, you know that at the back of this book is the solo mode. And in it has these scenarios here. So it's got the Chapter 1 scenario. And then Chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now these are all solo or cooperative scenarios for up to 4 players. Now I've played these. I played through the scenario twice, and I think I've achieved 11 stars and 13. So that's the good and very good rating in the end. And while I enjoy the campaign, and I'll keep playing it, I just wanted to come up with a couple different ways to modify it, or even add in new scenarios. So I have 5 ways you can modify this game, and I've play tested these, by the way, and they work quite well for me. So hopefully they will for you. So first things first is we have a new scenario, and the new scenario will involve 2 of your emergency plans. So you're going to have emergency plan A and D. Now if you know the solo mode, you have to complete 2 of the objectives on one of these, and normally you just have 1. Well, in this case, you got both of them, and you got to complete 2 on each of them, or 3 if you want to, but you don't get the bonus. And, you know, so that's going to involve, in this case, you're going to have to go from A to A or D to D, and get these kinds of GPS tokens. Now, the way I play tested it is that the victory point GPS token will count for both of them, so that's an easier thing to accomplish. But these 2 patterns are harder to accomplish. You have to either go longer in a turn and have all these colors twice, or you have to figure that on your own. That's part of the puzzle. But anyways, on top of those 2 emergency plans, you'll have your normal objectives. And on the player board here, these 2 objectives here, this one and this one. And you're going to have to complete one of them. And now, chances are you normally do in any given gameplay, but it's a little more difficult when you have to complete these emergency plans as well. So complete one of these, complete these 2 emergency plans, and the setup for it involves removing 33 cards from the deck, and the goal is to get 70, 80, or 90 points for 1, 2, or 3 stars. And now, let's move on to the second scenario. So the second scenario I tested was just the opposite. So we have B and C as your emergency plans. Same deal is that you got to complete one of the 2 player board objectives. This time you remove 30 cards from the deck, and not 33 like the other one. And this goal is the same as the other one, 70, 80, or 90 points for 1, 2, or 3 stars. So those are the first two modifications to the game. There's a lot of other scenarios on Board Game Geek that other people have submitted. At least that's what I'm told. I have not actually looked at them to try them out, but you should totally check them out. All right, so one of the things about this game that some people may or may not like is, at the beginning of the round, you roll the resource dice. And then you place these on here, so I got the book here, but these are the same, so I got to re-roll this. Okay, so now they're all different. And those are your resources for the round that you have available. Now, what I chose to do instead, I chose to try this out where when you do the first roll of the first game, okay? So let's say this is the first roll. You're going to replace the dice with a different player color. Normally I play orange. And so you can replace the dice with 3 blocks of a different player color. These are still the resources available this round. And then what's going to happen is that at the beginning of every round, you're going to rotate these 1 spot. So now for the second round, this is the resources available. And then next round. And so on. And so you just keep rotating this at the beginning of every round. This allows for a little more planning and strategy when it comes to playing your cards. You could look at one of your cards and you could see if, I need tools next round for one of these cards, or maybe it's the card you're going to purchase. So maybe you wait on purchasing a card or wait on spending certain resources and plan better for completing the different cards on the board. This can also work out for using your doctor to help the injured people. So I played this, and yes, you can get slightly higher scores in the end, but it really isn't that much. I think some people who do not like the randomness of this, and by the way, I've had it where I ended up, this wasn't the exact roll, but I ended up with the same roll for 4 rounds in a row. I know it's not likely to happen, but it did happen to me. So same roll for 4 rounds, and it got kind of frustrating because it made it much more difficult. I had to spend more travel tokens, and when I didn't have the travel tokens, I had to spend victory points, and yeah, it was kind of frustrating. So I could see this possibly relieving some frustration by having rotating resources every round. And so that's my number 3, rotating the dice instead of a roll. And then number 4 is an easy one. So let's say you're struggling with the gameplay. It's a little more difficult than you'd expect, and you want like an added boost to the start of the game. So what I suggest is you take all the passive resource gains or bonuses like this one here, the GPS one, or sorry, not, or the other one that gives you a GPS token, but you take all of them before you make your deck. Shuffle these together, and then you take one and you add that to the side of your player board. Now you have this at the beginning of the game. You don't get the bonuses or anything for it. It just gives you that added resource generation, so that when you do your first refresh, you get a little extra bonus. It's not a huge bonus, right? It can be. It can make or break a game, but I think it's more, it can make the game and make it a little bit easier on you as you play. So that is number 4, and we're going on to the 5th and final way to modify Blackout Hong Kong, and this is a new objective mode. So instead of doing the campaign in the scenario, you can do a new objective. And this can be even modified further, all right? But this is the one I tested here. Okay? You got D down here and A up here. And the way I have this scenario is you do the largest loop from A, right? Do the largest loop from A to D and back again. And it's got to be completely connected. So you could go like this, this, you know, this, this. And then you got to connect it back around. Okay? Now this is going to be more like a beat your own score mode. And some of you may not like that. I particularly enjoy beat your own score modes. Let's say this one was here and there. So there you have it. You have a loop from here going up here, back down to D again. And so that's the goal of the game. Now on top of that, you must you can use any emergency plan, but you must use one. You get the bonus if you complete it, because you're going to need it. You're placing a lot of these tokens out. So it's going to take a lot of completions for that. You must complete both player board objectives. And there's 2 levels of difficulty to this game. So there's easy, which you remove 24 cards from the game, which that means it's a longer game. And then there's hard, which is the shorter game of 33 cards being removed. And so this is just a whole kind of different type of game. Normally you're going to, you know, try to surround certain areas like these two are surrounded to get those bonuses up in the upper corner here. In this game, your end goal is to make that loop and make it as large as possible. So it's a combination of how many points you can score, and then how large is the loop. So in this case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 is the total number of tokens used for this loop. So you can modify it any other way. You can go from this C to this B over here. You could do it from this A to this D in some bigger loop. And you just record it as 2 types of scoring. How long it was, how long the loop was, and how many points you got at the end of the game. It's a different kind of puzzle than the scenarios. And it's quite fun. So there you have it. I've given you 5 different ways to modify the board game. I'll include the new scenarios and the objective mode in the comments. The details written down, so you can just copy them from there. But let me know what you think. Try them out. Let me know what ways you like more than others, or if you've modified this game yourself, what you've done. And yeah, just give me some feedback on that. Other than that, thank you for watching Tabletop for One. And please like and subscribe if you like this content and want to see more. Thank you very much, and have a good night.